At your Institute for Legislative Action, we have people on the ground at the federal, state, and local levels, because our job is to stay on top of everyone who holds political office, along with everyone who wants to, plus several hundred gun-related bills at any given time. Together, we keep politicians honest about the Second Amendment. Now, you may wonder if it's possible to keep politicians honest about our gun rights. Well, absolutely it is, because if not, we'll make them find another line of work. Here's an example from the 2000 elections. After 20 years of stabbing gun owners in the back, Al Gore tried to hide his anti-gun agenda, but it didn't work. We helped him learn that in presidential politics, all of you, America's gun owners, are a very, very inconvenient truth. In 2004, John Kerry tried to fool gun owners with that same "look, I'm a hunter" trick. Thanks to you, ladies and gentlemen, we cooked his goose. Even Bill Clinton tried to hide his anti-gun agenda. He put on camo and went duck hunting one day for the cameras. So we took that photo and added a few words. If Bill Clinton thinks hunting ducks will give him a pro-gun image, he's daffy. But let me ask you a serious question. Do you think Bill Clinton's gone duck hunting since that photo op? How many goose pits has John Kerry been in since then? And how long till we see a photo like this? Election after election, you and your fellow NRA members all across America see through the fakes and the frauds. It's gun owners like you who help us keep politicians on the right side of the Second Amendment or left out in the cold. So what's your NRA done for you lately? Well, for starters, we've restored the right of self-defense to a majority of the U.S. population. We now have honest-to-God right to carry in 40 states, with 10 more to go. You passed it here in Kentucky in 1996, and like every other right to carry state, your violent crime rate's gone down. As Wayne mentioned, speaking of self-defense, we've got castle doctrine laws passed in 22 states so far. The castle doctrine says if you're attacked and you decide to protect yourself and your family, you don't have to run away first. The criminal does. And if he gets hurt, that's his problem. And if he gets hurt, his relatives can't sue you. It's about time the law's on your side, not the criminal side. Thank you. We now have hunter protection laws in all 50 states. We have range protection laws and state preemption laws in 47 states. And here's some big news. 2 weeks ago, a federal appeals court threw out New York City's lawsuit against the gun industry thanks to the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act that your NRA helped pass. Lawful gun makers and lawful dealers should never be sued into bankruptcy for the acts of violent criminals. Wayne mentioned as well, we're also fighting state by state all over the country for worker protection laws to stop these employees who own guns from getting fired, some of them after 10, 20, even 30 years on the job. This protection is essential because if your employer can fire you for locking your gun in your car at work, then you can't take it when you leave the house in the morning. And if that happens, your boss just nullified right to carry and self-defense and the Second Amendment all in one fell swoop. Well, I believe that God gave you the right to self-defense, not your boss, and we're not going to let him take it away. Folks, as you've heard, the Supreme Court's about to rule in the Heller case. Now, I don't see how anyone can look at Washington, D.C.'s gun ban and conclude anything but it's unreasonable, it's wrong, it's proof that gun control is a failure, and it's time to fix it. God willing, the court will rule that the Second Amendment protects an individual right. But even that could be undone if we have new vacancies on the Supreme Court and they're filled by opponents of our firearm freedom. So we have to make sure that a sworn enemy of the Second Amendment does not take the White House this fall. So let's talk about two people who fit that description: Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Folks, no matter what she says now, Hillary Clinton's the same gal she was as America's most anti-gun first lady, married to America's most anti-gun president and the most anti-gun administration in American history. In that White House, I think we all know who wore the pantsuits in that family. This woman will say anything to get what she wants. You heard Hillary's famous lies about dodging sniper fire in Bosnia. But we've got a commander-in-chief who makes up war stories. So lying about your gun rights is easy. When she was running for the U.S. Senate, she was proud to join the so-called Million Mom March for Gun Control, right alongside ringleader Rosie O'Donnell. Let me take you back and let Hillary herself remind you about how she feels about your gun rights.
Well, I support the licensing of all guns, not just handguns. License handgun owners, all handguns licensed, register handguns, at least try to license all new guns. We need trigger locks. I do not think we should be licensing cars when we won't license guns. We have ballistic fingerprinting and smart guns. I think we ought to do more to keep track of the more than 200 million guns we already have in the country. Ask people to bring all their guns out, and you'd count them and you'd register them. We ought to limit handgun purchases to one a month. I'd like to see much stricter gun control measures. We ought to raise the age for purchasing a handgun. We do need more legislation, and I will fight for all of those.
That's the real Hillary Clinton. She also believes you shouldn't give your son or daughter a gun without a waiting period. She voted against protecting gun makers from those lawsuits for the acts of violent criminals. She voted to revive the semi-auto ban, that myth her husband pushed through Congress in 1994. And she even voted against the NRA law that says the government can't kick in your door and take your guns during an emergency, like they did in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. She supported gun control her entire political life. But now, all of a sudden, Hillary's pro-Second Amendment, while she even has fond memories of learning to shoot.
You know, my dad took me up behind the cottage that my grandfather built on a little lake called Lake Winola, outside of Scranton, and taught me how to shoot when I was a little girl.
You're right. Well, I wonder if he taught her to shoot with one of these. An expensive European left-handed Mauser 66 rifle, and notice the rare double-set trigger. That's the gun in this attack mailer against Barack Obama where Hillary accuses him of being anti-gun. But she's got her story backwards even on a stupid mailer, because Hillary's rifle is just like her pro-gun record. It doesn't exist. That rifle's just as bogus as her new target, illegal guns.
Well, I am against illegal guns.
Saying I'm against illegal guns is like saying I'm against drunken cars. Folks, it's not about the object, it's about the person who controls the object. So Hillary, you show me an illegal gun and I'll show you a criminal attached to it. When are you going to start attacking that criminal instead of America's law-abiding gun owners?